What's up, Disney dudes and dudettes? In this video, I'll be doing my breakdown of the Easter eggs, characters, and references you may have missed in Disney's Once Upon a Studio coming up. The Walt Disney Company on October 16th, to celebrate their 100th anniversary, really went all out and did the ultimate Disney crossover, featuring over 100 Disney characters from Disney animated films that we know and love, as well as CGI characters from movies such as Frozen and Rapunzel, all in one big epic film titled Once Upon a Studio. I have to say, after watching this film, I was absolutely impressed by the way that they had the CGI characters interact with the animated film characters in a live action setting similar to that of Mary Poppins. Honestly, guys, it was pretty much a dream come true. But after watching it, I had to say it was a lot to take in for the first time around. And so in this video, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of all the characters and Easter eggs and references you may have missed watching this the first time around. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the film starts off with a shot of the outside of Walt Disney's animation studios. Next, we get to see two characters interacting with each other, a college intern who is super excited to have seen the Disney exhibit and just, taking in all the wonder that Disney has over 100 years worth. And also the gentleman that she's talking to, the older one, of course, is actually none other than Burny Mattingson, who has actually been a Disney animator with the Walt Disney Company of over 70 years. He actually started his career with films such as Lady and the Tramp, and even worked on films as recent as Strange Worlds. Believe it or not, he actually started his career working under that of none other than Mark Davis, who was one of the original members of the Nine Old Men. Unfortunately, they filmed this scene 6 months before he passed at age 87. But what's really nice is that Disney did a tribute to him at the end of the film. We then get a glimpse at the wall of Disney animators, and in the middle is a photo of Mickey and Minnie from the Disney animated film Mickey's Birthday Party. And then suddenly the picture of Mickey starts to come alive, which is kind of cool and kind of creepy at the same time. And he actually calls for Tinkerbell to give the all clear signal and to see if, it's good to come out. And so then they come out of the photo, which was really cool, trying to get the gang together for this epic group photo. Then we get to see characters like Tiana, Pinocchio, Nick Wilde, and Judy Hopps, and of course Louie from Princess and the Frog. Next we get to see Bambi, Thumper, and Flower come out of the photos, calling for their friends from the Rescuers Down Under. And just as the Rescuers Down Under characters get to fly by, we get to see Bolt, Mittens, and Rhino from the Bolt movie. Also, we get to see none other than Peter Pan, Wendy, John, and Michael, notifying the other Disney characters on the second floor. We then get introduced to a few other familiar faces, such as Sisu from that of Raya and the Last Dragon, and Jim Hopkins from Treasure Planet, who flies right through her like an obstacle course. Next, we get introduced to none other than Maui from that of Moana, and then we get to see Aladdin in a blue riding down the staircase. It was really creative. Next, we get to see Vanellope von Schweetz and Dodger from Oliver and Company, and then we get to see Elliot from Pete's Dragon, along with Cody from Rescuers Down Under. There also happens to be a quick cameo of the elves from Disney's Prep and Landing. And then we get introduced to none other than Disney's Moana, who then catches Flounder, who's saying, "Water!" And then she runs over to get him some water. It was very creative in my opinion. At the coffee bar, we get to see a few more Disney Easter eggs, such as the Snuggly Duckling restaurant from that of the movie Tangled. We then get to see characters such as Merlin and the Sugar Bowl from Sword in the Stone, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, Chip. Also, we get to see Mad Hatter and the March Hare from Alice in Wonderland, and Lucille from Meet the Robinsons, oddly enough. There's also a quick cameo of one of the penguin waiters from that of Mary Poppins. Next, we get to see a few more Disney characters, such as Stromboli from that of Disney's Pinocchio, and Anna and Elsa from Disney's Frozen 1 and 2. If you pay close attention to the sign of the arcade that they're walking by, it's the same one that's featured in that of Wreck-It Ralph. Also worth noting, the sign on the women's bathroom happens to be that of Disney's Moana, and the men's bathroom earlier that is shown when Minnie is with Peter Pan happens to be the symbol of none other than Maui. And what's really funny is that Anna nervously asks if all the villains will show up, and just as she says that, Hans from Disney's Frozen tries to come through the photo, only to be stopped by Elsa, Frozen, in the photo, and she says, "Not all." Which is very funny and villainous at the same time. Next, we get to see an elevator filled with Disney characters, such as Donald Duck, who's actually in his animation style from 1931, Carl the Robot from Meet the Robinsons, Humphrey the Bear from the 1950s short, as well as Ranger J. Auburn Woolore from 1954 short. We also get to see Turk from Disney's Tarzan and Mother Gothel from Disney's Tangled. What's really funny is when we see Flash from Zootopia as asking Donald Duck to hold the elevator. I just love Donald's face in this scene. It's just so priceless. Next, we get to see a few more Disney characters, such as Olaf from Disney's Frozen, who's sketching another Disney character. As we are seeing him sketching the character, we see Robin Williams' lost boy, Robin, fly by the window, who's from the Back to Neverland sequence in 1989. We also get to see Timon and Pumbaa, who are letting Olaf know that it's time for the group photo. And then suddenly we get to see none other than Genie come out of the Disney animation. And what's really cool is that the dialogue that is used in this scene is actually unused voice recording sessions that were actually supposed to be in the movie Aladdin, but they were just too long and they ended up not having them. And Disney actually had to get special permission to have this from Robin Williams' estate to have it in this movie. Next, we get to see a bunch of Disney characters in the men's room that are trying to fix their appearances for the group photo, such as Prince John from Robin Hood, Thomas O'Malley for the Aristocats, Milo from Atlantis the Lost Empire, Chicken Little from Disney's Chicken Little, and of course Gaston from Disney's Beauty and the Beast, Happy from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and even the Headless Horseman from The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. We also get a random and surprise cameo from none other than the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland. Next, we get to see Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robin, Kanga, and Eeyore that are trying to get him out of the picture. It's very reminiscent of the scene in The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. Next, we get to see a few other Disney characters, such as Antonio from Disney's Encanto, Pascal from Tangled, Kiki from Mulan, Pua from Moana, Miko from Pocahontas, and the two bluebirds from Cinderella. Next, we get to see Jacques and Gus Gus, who are about to be eaten by Joanna from the Rescuers Down Under, only to be rescued by none other than Disney's Pluto. You go, Pluto! The Disney dogs are honestly the best. Next, we get to see the 101 Dalmatians watching that creepy segment of Night on Bald Mountain from Disney's Fantasia. And as they're watching this, there's a bunch of Disney characters that walk by, such as Angus from The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, Mole from also The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad, and Water Rat also. We get to see Honey Marin from Frozen 2, Ryder, Sven, and of course, Kristoff. Next, we get to see none other than Scrooge McDuck from Disney's Mickey's Christmas Carol, who's being stampeded by the 101 Dalmatians, only to have his money collected by none other than Robin Hood and Little John. Ooh da lale. We then get to see a part 2 of the elevator scene with Flash and Donald, and then also we get a cameo of none other than Baymax, who wants to fit in the elevator as well. What I love about this is that we get to hear Donald's iconic yell in the elevator as well. Next, we get to see none other than Disney's Ursula being chased by that of Splat from Strange Worlds. What's really interesting is that this is voiced by none other than Pat Carroll and was actually the last recording that she did before she passed away. And of course, we get to see none other than Disney's Cinderella with Prince Charming. And she's actually wearing her original dress that's in the animated film, unlike the blue that we see nowadays. What's really funny is when we see Prince Charming's shoe falls off, and his shoe is taken up by none other than Disney's Max. I just love how Cinderella is like, go, Max, go! Next, we get to see this hilarious scene of Ka hypnotizing that of Clarabelle, and Mickey is like, no, 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 stop it, Ka. And then all of a sudden we get to see none other than Rapunzel from Disney's Tangled. It's like, don't worry, Mickey, I got this. And she hits him in the face with the frying pan. I just love how we see Ka being stung by the frying pan and then we hear it. This was very creative, and I thought that it was just really smart that Disney did this. Then we come to the most emotional scene in the entire film, and that is when Walt is talking to the photo of Walt Disney. What I like is that you can actually see Mickey's reflection in the picture, and you could just tell that, he's just looking at him thinking, wow, your legacy really helped, shape everything. And if you think about it, it's kind of sad how, Disney kind of got away from 2D animation, since that was really the whole thing that jump-started the Walt Disney Company. I get it, wanting to do new animation, such as the CGI technology we see nowadays, but it seems like Disney lost a piece of themselves. And so it's really cool that they got to actually incorporate this blending of the old and the new. Notice that Mickey says, well, on with the show. This is actually a callback to him saying this in the Mickey Mouse Club. We then get to see a staircase filled with familiar Disney characters such as Grandpappy from Frozen, Dumbo, Skippy from Robin Hood, Toby Turtle from Robin Hood, Art and Dot from Us Again, Bowler Hat Guy from Meet the Robinsons, Madame Medusa from The Rescuers, Kronk from The Emperor's New Groove, Searcher Claude from Strange World, Meridian Claude from Strange World, Ethan Claude from that of Strange World as well. We get to see Pete and Clara Cluck from the Disney animated shorts that we know and love, as well as Giselle from Zootopia, Johnny Fedora, and Alice Blue Bonnet from Make Mine Music. We also get to see Maleficent from Disney's Sleeping Beauty and Claude Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Next, we get to see a few other familiar faces, such as Madame Mim from Sword in the Stone, Flynn Rider and Maximus from Disney's Tangled, and Raya from Raya and the Last Dragon. We also get to see Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph from Ralph Breaks the Internet, who says, "I'm never better, Garfield," which is kind of interesting why he would say that. We also get to see Scar from Disney's Lion King, who says, "I'm surrounded by idiots," only to be interrupted by Mr. Toad, who is riding Magic Carpet from that of Disney's Aladdin. We also get to see Ichabod from Ichabod and Mr. Toad, who literally ducks just right before getting hit by the ladder carried by Goofy in his 1932 outfit style. We also get to see Jacques from Lady and the Tramp, as well as Trusty. We also see Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather have the ironic debate of make it pink or make it blue. What's really cool is then we actually get a cameo of none other than Disney's Olaf, and Mickey is like, "Oh, after you." I love that they just acknowledge that he's part of Disney history now. Next, we get to see Rafiki, who is handing Goofy the camera and says, "It is time," like the same line he says from The Lion King. We also get to see Jafar and Iago, and I just love how Iago is like counting down the seconds until Goofy falls. It's just so absolutely hysterical. And what's really interesting, this was the actor's last recording session right before he passed as well. Next, we get to see the princess from The Black Cauldron, Casey from Make My Music, Nessie from The Ballad of Nessie, as well as a bunch of characters such as Clarabelle and Horace Horsecollar from classic Disney animation shorts. We also get to see none other than Jane and Tarzan from Disney's Tarzan. And of course, we have to have Goofy have his iconic yell. It wouldn't be a Disney movie without it, wouldn't it? And after he breaks the camera, who literally eats the pieces of the camera? None other than Stitch, only to be stopped by Lilo. And then we get a couple of other Disney character cameos. Next, we get to see familiar faces such as Nala from Lion King, Hyacinth Hippo from Fantasia, Captain Amelia from Treasure Planet, Grumpy, Kozlov from Zootopia, Mr. Big from Zootopia, Frou-Frou from Zootopia, as well as Piglet from Winnie the Pooh, Rabbit and Gopher, and Jumba Jubicka, I'm hoping I'm saying that right, from Lilo and Stitch. We then get to see characters such as Friar Tuck from Robin Hood, Fred, Honey Lemon, Hero, Go-Go, and Wasabi from Big Hero 6, and Ludwig von Drake. We also get to see Arthur from Sword of the Stone, and King Leonidas from Bedknobs and Broomsticks. We also get to see the Big Bad Wolf from Silly Symphony's The Three Little Pigs. Next, we get to see Officer Clawhauser from Zootopia, Sergeant Calhoun from Wreck-It Ralph, Jasmine from Aladdin, Daisy Duck, and of course Coda and Kenai from Brother Bear, as well as Kida from Disney's Atlantis, The Lost Empire, as well as Alma and Isabella from Disney's Encanto. We also get to see Alan A. Dale from Disney's Robin Hood starting to play When You Wish Upon a Star. We also get to see Johnny Appleseed from Melody Time, Scat Cat from the Aristocats, and also that of Maribel from Disney's Encanto. We also get to see Taffeta from Disney's Wreck-It Ralph. Next, we get to see the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, Wilbur and Lewis from Meet the Robinsons, and Belle and Beast from Beauty and the Beast, along with Pecos Belle and Widowmaker from Melody Time, along with Penny from The Rescuers. We also get to see familiar faces such as Aurora and Philip from Disney's Sleeping Beauty, Hades from Disney's Hercules, Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians, and John Henry. Next, we get to see Quasimodo, Victor, Hugo, and Laverne from Hunchback of Notre Dame, Edgar from Aristocats, also Marie, Toulouse, and Berlioz from Aristocats, Mama Ode from Princess and the Frog, Julieta and Augustine from Encanto, and Gurgi from Black Cauldron. We also get to see Timothy Mouse and Dumbo from Disney's Dumbo, of course. We also get to see Basil, Olivia, and Dr. David from The Great Mouse Detective, Boone and Ton from Raya, The Last Dragon, and also Pocahontas herself and Flit from Disney's Pocahontas. We also get to see Ariel, Eric, and Scuttle from The Little Mermaid, and Dolores from Encanto. Next, we get to also see Baloo and Mowgli from Disney's Jungle Book, as well as Sebastian from The Little Mermaid, the Golden Harp from Fun and Fancy Free, as well as Runt from Disney's Chicken Little. We also get to see the Three Brooms from Disney's Fantasia, Hercules, and the Fairy Godmother from Cinderella. We also get to see Namari from Raya and the Last Dragon, this creepy little green dude from Black Cauldron who's giving me major Yoda vibes, Lieutenant Matthias from Frozen 2, Aunt Cass from Big Hero 6, Burny for Frozen 2, David and Scrump from Lilo and Stitch, as well as Camillo from Encanto. Next, we get to see the fairest of them all that started it all, Snow White. Next to her is a couple of other characters from Black Cauldron, and of course, Disney's Mulan. We also get to see Robin Hood and Maid Marian together, Aldar from Dinosaur, Gideon and Honest John from Disney's Pinocchio. You also get to see new Disney character Asha, who will be in the upcoming Disney movie Wish. We also get to see Fifi and Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast, and Tigger as well, who finally steps in from Winnie the Pooh, and also White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland. And to set the mood and really bring us home is none other than Jiminy Cricket. Not gonna lie, guys, but when he literally started singing When You Wish Upon a Star, and when they all chimed in, I almost broke out into tears. I had major goosebumps. But anyways, there's a couple of other characters that they didn't show until the final scene. Like, for instance, Charlotte from Disney's Princess and the Frog, Owl from Winnie the Pooh, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, Maurice from Beauty and the Beast, Spike the Bee from his own Disney animated short, Chip and Dale from, of course, classic Disney animated shorts, and Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, of course, and Hee Hee from Moana, the Sultan from Aladdin, Blue Fairy from Disney's Pinocchio, as well as Karina Van Tassel from The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad. We also get to see Juju and Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog, as well as the two trees from the short Flowers and Trees, the Disney Silly Symphony cartoon. We also get to see LeFou from Beauty and the Beast, Ling, Yao, and Chin Po from Mulan, Tantor from Tarzan, the Reluctant Dragon from the Reluctant Dragon cartoon, Geppetto from Disney's Pinocchio, Kala and Kerchak from Tarzan, as well as Clayton. Also Tweedledee and Tweedledum in the King of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland. Also characters like Wilbur from Rescuers Down Under, the Prince from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, the Evil Queen from Snow White as well, Sneezy, Sleepy, Bashful, Doc, Dopey, and from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, of course. And there's even Bruno from Encanto. There's Lady Tremaine, and also a few other characters from Black Cauldron, Ray from Princess and the Frog, and George from the animated short The Paper Man. There was a bunch of other Disney characters, but then I would be here for another 100 years if I were to go through all of them. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any Disney characters that you noticed in the group photo, I would love to know. Leave a comment down below, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon so you can be notified every Thursday when we have a new video. And as always, have